Hello! Welcome to a fresh and molto bene episode of Name That Wine. I'm Rob Frisch, writer of the award-winning wine blog oddbacchus.com.
And I'm Liz Barrett. I write the blog called what'sinthatbottle.com, and I'm a certified specialist of wine. And you know what today is?
What is it?
It's Chianti Day!
Oh,
we got Italian food.
We have
it goes
pasta.
With pizza.
All the best
things. Yeah! We're super excited about that. We had some samples sent to us by the generous people at Rufino.
Grazie.
And our friends at H2 Vino.
Grazie.
Grazie. What grape is king in Tuscany?
It is Sangiovese.
Yes, it is.
That is an ancient variety. It goes way back, perhaps to Roman times. Who knows?
But Sangiovese comes in many different forms, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It can be sort of cheap and cheerful. It can be serious and deep.
And it could be Chianti. It could also be Super Tuscan. Anybody heard of that? Nobody knows what it is. We're going to explain it. It could be Brunello. That's Sangiovese, isn't it? There's lots of different wines that use this grape. So.
Now, Liz, I think of Chianti, I think of those bulbous bottles with the baskets. Right.
It's called a fiasco, by the way.
Right, exactly. That's a fiasco. But that wine, I think of as just kind of crappy.
I think Chianti has come a long way. There's a lot of rules that have been in place in the Chianti region. I think producers are really stepping it up, and it's become a wine that I love, especially with sausage pizza.
They have really stepped up quality since the days of the baskets and the candle in the bottle.
They have.
For sure. So there's Chianti, and that zone, the DOC zone of Chianti, is larger than Bordeaux. It is perhaps too big.
It's big.
But we have a Chianti DOCG, which is the higher quality classification. Chianti Classico is a sub-region of Chianti. That's the historic region of Chianti, which was in fact the first wine region delimited ever, anywhere, in 1716. Yeah.
Nice one. So,
and then we have our Super Tuscan.
Yes.
What is that?
Super Tuscan, I think it was the early 90s when some of the producers there are like, you know what? I want to put some Merlot in my Sangiovese, and I might also want to put some Cabernet in my Sangiovese. And the people are like, no, 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 and no, with no on top and a side of no. And
regulations
you cannot,
did not allow
in
that.
Chianti, you may not do that and put Chianti on the labels. They're like, well, guess what? I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm just going to call it something else, and I'm going to call it Super Tuscan.
Right, and it was very embarrassing for the Chianti regulators because these wines, which they had to label as table wine, were actually better and selling for higher prices than the higher classified Chiantis, because at the time Chianti regulations were super loosey-goosey and in sometimes even counterproductive, in fact requiring, for example, that white grapes be blended in with your Sangiovese, and that just, it's not necessarily a good idea.
Have you ever heard of Ornellaia? That is a Super Tuscan.
Sassicaia
is a Super Tuscan. These are some of the most prestigious wines in all of Italy, commanding hundreds of dollars a bottle.
Right.
And so Super Tuscans can range. You could find awesome ones for probably $20, and you could spend hundreds.
Exactly.
So that is what a Super Tuscan is. It's just something that deviates from the rules.
Right. It'll be labeled as IGT. Those are the letters to look for, and then you'll be like, oh, that's probably a Super Tuscan. And in this case, it's a blend of Sangiovese, about a third, Merlot, and Cabernet.
How do you know that? Because you read the label. I read the label. All right, let's drink.
Oh, drink! You said my favorite word.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
We got a Chianti Classico, and a Super Tuscan. We don't know what's what.
We do not. One of these is darker than the others. Number one.
You are right. And this looks really, well, yeah, it does. Number one.
So already I'm going to guess that this is the Super Tuscan since it has more Cabernet, which is a dark.
Just on smell alone, I might guess Super Tuscan too.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's
right?
Very fragrant. Berries, a little, maybe even purple flower.
I detect Merlot in this. I'm calling this Super Tuscan right off the bat. But bam! Okay.
It is chewy, it is fruity, it is well balanced.
Nice tannins.
They're hefty, but they're integrated.
Great acid, yeah.
I want me a nice Florentine steak with that sucker. Number two smells a little earthier.
A lot of Chiantis you do get an earthy like leather note.
That's nice and clean and fresh. Number 3 is less obviously fragrant.
Yeah, it's a little less
Ooh.
complex, shall we say.
And
A
there's-
little bit of Twizzler,
And some black pepper.
maybe a red Skittle.
Oh, red Skittle. Yeah, you want like juicy acids with your Chianti and maybe some
Oh my god.
cherries and it should be very food friendly. The vintages might be different for the Chianti and Chianti Classico.
I think you're right.
Chianti is 2017, Chianti Classico 2015.
Mr. Photographic
And so
memory.
call it. All right.
Okay, 1, I think is Super Tuscan.
Super Tuscan.
Okay, we're same.
2, Chianti Classico.
Me too!
All right. So that means we've got them all wrong.
Exactly. So
Whatever
let's
we
review.
agreed, it's not a good delicious.
We said number 1 was the Super Tuscan.
Is that-
And
Did
we
we get
got
it?
Awesome. This is Modus Toscana 2016 from Rufino. Thank you for the sample.
That
it
is delicious.
39% Sangiovese, 35% Merlot, and 26 Cab. So a third-ish. And this delicious wine, $22.
Oh, that's a good deal.
I mean, this would stand up to the finest piece of beef or lasagna or...
Oh, sure. Or
Any-
your pizza. I would want to serve it with something slightly fancier.
Yeah. Lamb.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Lamb with a little rosemary. Number
We
2.
thought this was the Chianti... Yes!
Oh shit! Ah!
All right, this is Tenuta Sante Dame.
Okay.
If I'm saying it correctly, which I might well not be. 2015 Chianti Classico. Our friends at H2 Vino sent this to us. Thank you. It's delicious.
Yeah.
It is Chianti Classico, so it is from that sweet spot in the Chianti region that has the best vineyards, and we all know the better the vineyard, the better the grape, the better the wine.
They have stricter regulations there.
Yeah.
No white grapes are permitted in the blend.
Yeah,
So
6 months in oak. It's beautiful.
So
By
which
process
means
of elimination.
this is the Chianti DOCG. Yes, this is by Rocca di Castagnoli. It is DOCG Chianti, so that's going to be the best Chianti you can get.
This one is from H2 Vino.
Mm-hmm.
This one is from Rufino.
I mean, I will say.
So I want to clarify. I made a mistake.
I mean, I like the peppery note. I like the fruit.
Yeah.
And I would not guess this was Chianti as opposed to Chianti Classico.
No, it tastes...
How much is this one?
Let's see. The Sant'Adam from Rufino is, the Classico is 22.
I pay
About the same as this. This is about $15.
Which is, I mean, it's a good deal.
It's got like strawberries and cherries.
Yeah.
It's very elegant and smooth. It doesn't have any of the rough edges.
And I wouldn't lay this one
Chianti.
down necessarily, like it's ready to drink.
No, it's like young and fresh and sassy and sexy, and you should drink it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Exactly. Well, this was a lovely tasting.
It's so fun.
I am very excited to get me a steak right now
I want a steak with
and
the
suck all this
Modus.
down. Yeah.
And then I want a pizza for dessert with one of these.
I love dessert pizza. Yay!
Cheers to us and to you.
And to Chianti.
Chin chin.